Good morning, Ian Cover.
Good morning, Neil. Hello, Rob. Happy New Year to you both.
Yeah, good to have you back, Cove. You're a genuine friend of the show now, probably up to half a dozen or more. Always a delight.
I'm feeling the warmth because we did the montage, if I can throw in a French word there for you, just before Christmas, Ian, of all the people we spoke to. And we've got a tradition, because, traditional rivals and all that sort of stuff that happens over 2 years. We have a tradition of having you on early in the year. Last year, you kicked off our program last year. You were our first guest last year. And you started with good morning, Rob, and good morning to your offsider there. So I'm feeling so much better about myself that I've stepped up in the world and you actually know my name.
Yeah, well, that's a breakthrough.
So, Brian, what do you got for us?
I thought the tradition was going to continue and I was going to kick off this year as well. Rob had contacted me.
Yes, I think that part had happened.
Yeah, and then, Rob, your offsider
You usurped the arrangement, yes.
So anyway, can I just say, I was listening to the music on the program, and I was just intrigued by that when you did play Walk Like an Egyptian. This has intrigued me for a number of years.
Yes.
Just exactly how does an Egyptian walk? You're going to walk like one.
Well, I'm doing it in the studio, and that's not going to help on radio. But if you have a look at the very fine clip out of 1987 by the Bangles, Be Still My Beating Heart, Susanna Hoff, they actually walk like an Egyptian in the actual video.
But I think Ian's alluding to, how did they find out that was the template they needed to follow?
Because there was pictures on the wall.
Oh, is that right?
I'm doing that.
All right.
Why would you want to walk like one?
Well, to be fair, if you were down Collins Street doing that, they would look at you funny.
Yeah. Well, you're going to say, who's the captain? Pat Cummins called out to Mitchell Stark at fine leg. He said, can you move over to third man and walk like Egyptian?
Yes, it is a puzzling one. But the world of rock and roll, I don't know that logic comes into it very often.
Now, this is a very good point. This is my next topic for matters arising.
Yes.
So I was last on, and over the summer. I was in the car driving back from Melbourne late last year, and you had as your after 10 in this slot guest Stuart Coop.
Yes, indeed.
And talking about rock and roll,
he's
he's lived and breathed it for a long time, and he was talking about his new book, Shake Some Action.
Yes.
And so I went immediately on my way to Barwon Heads. Has now got a fabulous bookshop in the main street. In the words of John Laws, it's called Heads and Tails. Didn't I tell you they're friends of mine?
I'll tell you something about John Laws after you finish this story. Keep going.
And so I went in there and I ordered Shake Some Action in. So I've read that over the summer.
It's a good book, isn't it?
It is. Look, it gets a little bit repetitive as to how many drugs he took and how much alcohol he consumed.
Allegedly.
No.
No, he's admitted it. No, it's okay. You always throw that in just to be safe.
But going through all the bands and things that he worked with and people, it's probably an era which we identify with, Neil. Perhaps not so much Rob. He's more a Glenn Miller man.
Yeah, very much so.
He still comes in whistling American Patrol most mornings. No, in my past life, I worked for one of the large oil companies, and my demographic was the regional distributors. So I would go and spend a week in various towns, such as Kalgoorlie, Roma, Toowoomba, all these places around Australia. And of course, everything was syndicated in those towns, and Lawsy was often the person. So you get an ad. Yes, whenever I get my car serviced, I go into Roma Radiator Repairs. Roma Radiator Repairs do a great job. Tell them Lawsy sent you. So then you'd be in Orange 6 weeks later. Every time I need my car repaired, I take it to Orange Radiator Services.
I've heard stories about him recording the ads, and he does the main bit, and then all those tags.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's hundreds of them.
But it was always, tell them Lawsy sent you. And I was somewhere, I can't remember where it was, probably Kalgoorlie or somewhere, and I had to go and use one of his service providers, and I walked in and I said, Lawsy sent me, and the bloke behind the counter went, what?
That's fantastic. Yeah. And just on that, on the Stuart Coop book, it does take us back to an era when pub rock was fantastic. You'll never see the likes of that again. And in tandem with that, I in the bookshop, they didn't have that one. They got it in for me, but they had their Sons of Beaches by Bill McDonough, who played the drums in Australian Crawl.
He did.
And so it's a very good book too. And again, from that same era, and I lived through that pub stuff in the late 70s into the 80s, and actually knew the Australian Crawl guys pretty well. So it was really interesting to read. But he doesn't just write about the band. He just talks about growing up on the Mornington Peninsula. His brother Guy, of course, was in the band, and Guy sadly died at about 26 or 28 years of age, and he talks all about that. That's a really good read too for anyone that lived the era. Sons of Beaches, Bill McDonough. Get him on.
And we, of course, Brad Robinson was part of that too. Brad, I had the fortune of meeting a couple of times because he was good friends with a teacher at the school I was teaching at.
Okay.
And I'm fair to say, Brad, to use a phrase that you're fond of, was on quite good terms with himself.
Oh, no, good. He's a very good, and he was a good sportsman. And here's a little, you're going to Lawsy story. I'll give you a Brad Robinson story. My good friend Billy Baxter, who you know, one of my Coodabeen's colleagues, but I met Billy at Belmont High School in 1968, so we've been mates for...
a long time. 55 years.
Yeah, and that's a very long time, Tony.
He's popped in.
And so we used to have an annual cricket match, and it started as a beach cricket match on the beach at Coodabeen. And I got a team of locals together, and Billy brought all these rock and rollers down from Melbourne, and Brad Robinson had a big reputation as a sportsman. He batted at number 3. He came in on a very dodgy strip at Coodabeen, and I pitched one outside off, and it hit a seashell and nicked the outside of Brad's bat, and he was caught at first slip. And at the party, the post-game drinks that happened, I said, "What about that ball I got you there with Brad?" He said, "Unplayable." Years then I run into Brad and he said, "Go, Brad," and he'd go,
It begs the question, doesn't it? Because you often talk about your mate Billy. Why did Paul Kelly, when he wrote a song, why did he want to be, "I want to be like Ian Cover"? Because it still fits.
Oh, yeah, but I hadn't come across their radar like Billy had.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Well, Billy actually, he worked with a guy called Chris Langman, who was in Paul Kelly's band.
Yes.
And they were working in the film industry together, and Billy was a bit of a character on the film set and on the production side of things, and on the crew, and that led to him penning that song. Yeah.
Very good to have another bit of local Geelong content in a Paul Kelly song.
Correct. Yeah. There's a bit of that going around, isn't there?
There's a lot of Geelong. Geelong is really starting to get its tentacles out in the world, Ian, and of course our own Cadell Evans. He's been to many other places, but he's our own at the moment, and the world spotlight is upon us today.
And in fact, just recabbing as someone
Catching a taxi again.
I said, "Well, didn't like that taxi, so I got another one." I recabbed. So just to I heard someone in all seriousness say that one day. Oh, just to recap, that first appearance I made on the first show last year,
yes,
was the corresponding weekend 2 weekends ago, and I was at the Cottage by the Sea Fair.
You were indeed, yes.
I was on the line, and you said, "Well, we must come down next year and do an OB at it."
Still waiting for the invitation. I check the emails every week.
We have got someone inside the walls of 94.7 The Pulse that can make that happen now, so we might aim for that.
Yeah.
I heard you doing a very in-depth interview the other day, Rob, with the new...
That'd be a first.
With who, sorry?
With Loretta, was it?
Oh, yes, with Loretta, yes.
Yeah, well, she'll be in this spot next week, actually, talking about that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, she's rejuvenated the place, Ian.
Right, so she needs to move into OBs.
We're heading to Anglesea on Monday morning for Rob Cameron's front page for an OB at Morgan's Bar and Grill. Very excited about that.
Or they do a very nice burger there.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
Just I'm reminded, of course, down at Cottage by the Sea, I'm just weaving a bit of a musical segue here, Of course, on the corner next to the cottage by the sea was the former Riptide Motel, which the cottage now owns, and raising money to revamp that to provide more accommodation for more kids to come and have stays at the cottage. And you will be familiar with the work of Vance Joy.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, used to play at full back for the Coburg Seconds.
Under another name.
James Keogh.
Yeah, and you didn't go to the BNF there. 3 votes, V. Joy.
No, Shorty. 3 votes, the Joy, which is what Gil McLaughlin's been doing lately.
So he penned a song having stayed there once called Riptide.
Oh, I know the song.
Yes.
Yeah. And so people don't realise it's about that. A local connection there for you, Rob.
More Geelong stuff.
Well, do you want 2 more? Winter in America is written about Queenscliff.
What's that?
Winter in America is written about Queenscliff.
Is it?
Yep. So the Frangipani opens up the Kiss the Morning Air. That's about Queenscliff. It is alleged by someone who claims to have written the song. It is alleged that Doug Ashdown heard the song and made it his own, but that's that. And of course, David Bowie wrote a song about this town as well.
Yeah, which one?
With your long brown hair and your eyes of blue.
Thank you. I'd go to an ad break on that.
And John Paul Young, of course. Ooh, it's such a long, long way to Colindina.
Oh, here we go.
Don't start. This is a 7 at 7 coming up here,
Yeah,
Cove.
it's such a long, long way to Pasadena. No, it's all there.
What was the original name of the Winter in America song?
Leave love enough alone.
Yeah, leave love. Yeah, no wonder that you should have always called it Winter in America.
In fact, I think in some places it's called Winter in America, brackets, leave love enough alone, close brackets.
There's a top 7 before 7 of songs with the subtitle in brackets.
I believe that has been done, and that a person who is often referred to on that show as Listener Neil may have submitted it and won himself a couple of bottles of a certain brand of wine.
DeBorderly, I'll say it.
I'm not allowed to say that sort of stuff. That sounds like a sponsorship announcement.
No, it wouldn't be.
My Vance Joy story.
That's it. Yeah, you should.
I'm going to finish my Vance Joy story.
Yeah, sorry, back to you.
He's had some success in an investment in a clothing company in America, Vance Joy,
Mm-hmm.
And so much so he's directed most, if not all, of his royalties to Cottage by the Sea to assist with the new building.
Hey, Cove, we really should extend that a little bit before we go into the detail, but that organisation that you are heavily involved in, I've learnt a lot more about it, and we've had stories from people who are now in their 30s and 40s that have had that experience. It is extraordinary what you do, and I can understand why you've attached yourself to it. You must be really, really proud of what that place does.
Well, it changes people's lives, and young kids in particular that have a disadvantaged or underprivileged backgrounds and all sorts of challenges, and they spend a week there, and it changes their lives. You're right. I was there one day, and having a look around, and 2 fully uniformed and armed police came up the stairs and thought, gee, they've finally caught me. I'm safe here. And they come and said, are you right? And I was the leading constable said to me, oh, look, I'm just brought my partner here. We're filling in at the Queensland Police Station today, and I came here when I was a kid, and I just wanted to show her around of where I stayed and that, because he said, if I hadn't have come here, I would have ended up on the other side of the law.
Really? That's magnificent.
Pretty powerful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I've heard others. So good on you. I know you do a lot of good stuff. I know the Coodabeens have been good to you, but you are a very giving person. That's another good example of what you do. So good on you and the organisation. Oh,
that's very kind of you. Now, I'll be joining you again next January. But had fun this morning.
Well, as long as we've got a commitment, we're getting a little bit panicky when we hadn't heard from you by 3 o'clock on the Friday.
I should speak to Loretta about seriously take the tongue out of the cheek and look to do an OB down there, because it would be very timely.
Yeah. No, I just anyway. The topic for today was something completely different, and I've just digressed.
No. I think I said to you in the text, if we get stuck, we could always talk about what 2024 looks like.
Yeah, I knew we were going to digress, Cove. We've had plenty of them every time we speak to you, and it's the joy of the conversation. You never know where it's going.
Well, it's called 2 blokes chatting with another bloke interrupting.
I'm sorry, I won't. I'll leave you two blokes to it, will I?
No, I was the one who...
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry.
So, Cove, tell us what would you like to see happen apart from a Geelong Football Club premiership in 2024?
No, we're looking something factual, not fantasy.
Come on, no, we're going all right. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, by the way, we've heard that everyone at Geelong is training the house down, apparently, Cove. That'll give you something to work with.
Well, look, the one I like the best in the cliches that have been given a run is, it hasn't happened for a long time that we've finished so early in the season at extra time to get extra month. Gee, it makes a difference.
That's mine. I've been hanging on to that since late August last year when I was hoping we wouldn't make the finals so that we could have that extra preparation. Hey, now you would have... you weren't around when Polly was coming, but when Brian Peake was coming and the Ablett star, but I don't know about you, but Toby Conway is starting to send shivers up my spine, Cove.
Yeah, you're shaking all over, I can tell.
I have indeed.
In fact, this is funny you should say that, Rob, because a friend of mine was telling me just yesterday that he happened to be driving along the highway or up Pigton's Road or something near Deakin University one day recently, and he glanced over the oval and he saw the Cats were training there. So he sort of duck in, have a look at training. And the first question I said was Toby Conway? That's fair dinkum. And he said, he's a big unit. So that's good to hear. He's on the track.
Yeah.
You're training the house down, I'm told.
Well, Neil, they are training the house down in preparation for the trial game.
So you were listening. What's that about? Trial games for my bottom.
Sake.
Hey,
match Sim's bad enough.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, gee. Why can't we just say practice matches? Practice matches became, they've been doing match sim. Gee, it's good.
Yeah. And the practice matches was like your Sunday best, wasn't it? Outside of putting on your shoes and your tie and all that sort of stuff, they were always prackies.
Prackies?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they only have one trial game, though, don't they, Tom?
No, they have one practice game. They have one match simulation and one practice game.
I think it's February 22, so that's not all that far away, is it?
No, pretty close. It's coming up very quickly, and yeah, there'll be a great excitement there. Now, tell us a little bit before you crystal ball. The Coodabeens, we got the same contract arrangements, and will be 4:00 on a Friday afternoon at a rival radio station, Cove.
I haven't even thought about that.
Oh,
I've been too focused on trial games.
Apparently also, and Toby Conway, of course.
And Toby, yes.
He's come back in the best nick they've ever seen him.
The big fella. Yeah.
Down there.
You know us, Rob. It's far too early to be talking about the season for us.
3:45 one Friday afternoon in March, I suspect you'll start thinking about it.
I'd pick out the train timetable for the week commencing, whatever it is.
So with the Coodabeens, Cove, are you the managing director, or is that Richo's? Does he hold complete control of the unit for the entire 12 months? Who talks to the radio stations? Do you have a manager? How does that all work?
No. We have a leadership group.
Of which everyone's a part?
Magnificent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Look, it's really helped blokes like Billy Baxter. He was just another player, but eventually, we moved him into the leadership group, and he's really flourished.
He's blossomed, hasn't he?
Is that because you don't see the stuff he does around the ground, around the club? Is that why he's been brought in?
Yeah. You don't see the stuff he does around the booth.
Oh dear. So you're not thinking about it too much yet? Do you know what you're doing yet, or you just wait till middle of Feb and start talking? How does it all work?
I need to see some exposed form. So we can start talking Toby Conway up.
Yeah, well, the AFL and the media certainly give you plenty of trial matches. A good example. You get plenty of fodder in there still to keep your show quite relevant.
Well, and as you yourself have already declared, I think, on air this morning, that Toby Conway is the new Polly Farmer.
Yes. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. All right, I'll run with that. If he's as good as Brad Otten's, I'll be happy. He doesn't need to get anywhere near Polly.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Brad Otten's down at the club. Also good to see Stephen King down at the club.
Yeah, that's good. If you look at his body of work over the years, Cove, he's done a pretty good job.
And when he was put into the hot seat at the Gold Coast, he did a very good job.
He did. No, I think that's a win for the club, and we might actually get to the stage of we just got to get rid of that Brisbane bloke Lappin. We'll have a complete Geelong contingent on the coaching staff. That'll be fantastic.
The bloke who's running the show is also, quote, a Brisbane bloke.
Don't worry about him. No. Scotty's ours now.
Oh, is he?
Hey, he won't be getting rid of the Brisbane bloke as long as the other Brisbane bloke is still coaching them.
Yeah, I think they're a very good unit. We'll keep them there happily. That's fine.
I just get a bit concerned sometimes that Nigel's behaviour, just a bit out there, just hard to predict, always screaming from the sidelines.
Bringing the club into disrepute.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Nothing.
He's never done anything wrong in his life.
Sorry, that was a bit of tongue-in-cheek work there on Nigel.
He's
a ripping bloke.
He's the Robert Flower of modern footy now, just someone that everyone loves.
Have you ever had him on the show?
We had him on grand final morning. Of course, you were on the air on a rival station. I suspect that's why you wouldn't have listened.
No, I went to a lunch that was put on by the Barwon Sports Academy.
Must have started early if you missed our show. Might have been a breakfast.
Not that day. This is
beg your pardon.
Day. And there was some people who are good supporters of Barwon Sports Academy and the like there, and Nigel addressed was like a boardroom sort of style thing, and Nigel addressed him. He was terrific.
Yeah, he was very, very good. I was trying to bait him into picking Brisbane for obvious reasons, and he wasn't having it. He's going, no, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Come on, mate.
He was most impressive, and you could easily see why he's sort of been at the club so long, because he just keeps changing his role, I suppose, but becoming very relevant. He's certainly part of the furniture, as they say, Cove.
And I think to use another, this might be a brand new saying for you. I think you'll find that he's Chris Scott's closest confidant.
Yes, that's pretty helpful.
It's good how we occasionally throw in montage and confidant. I heard Rob Malcolm today talking about the Tour de France, and then immediately followed up with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
as he's going Tour de Fel.
There'd be some people, Neil, that aren't au fait.
I think we've now exhausted Year 7 French.
And we haven't done anything about 2024, which is what we're going to do. See, we told you what would happen.
But see, if I didn't throw a topic out there, we'd have nothing to talk about. That's the thing. Cove, we've come to the end of our time slot, sadly. We could chat several times over, and we will certainly do so again during the year. But we wish you well for the day. Happy whatever you called yesterday day, and we'll catch up soon.
Yes, and a happy Australia Day, respectively to you too.
Yeah, that's what we call it. That's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Good on you, mate.
We'll chat soon.
Thank you very much, and well done on yesterday as well. Good day.
And go the Cats in Premier Cricket.
Yes, we're all over them. Saturday and Sunday, Cardinia Park this weekend. Get on down, 11 o'clock start. Cats are taking on Richmond.
And if you see Cove and tell him that you heard him on the Two Blokes Chatting radio show, he'll look at you weird.
See you later.
Enjoy your day. See you, mate.
Righto. See you, boys.